Cool.
This
Right,
this
hopefully,
meeting is being
says the meeting
recorded.
is being recorded. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Here we go then. Here we go.
Cool.
Episode. So I think it's gonna be episode 9 of
Okay.
the
Well, we
podcast.
predicted we
So
predicted 8, so
yeah,
nine's
if you think
okay.
8, basically 8, I've already recorded it. I recorded it like October. It's
Okay.
just me chatting. And then I basically I probably should release it soon to be honest, but it's just been a while. But episode 9, this one's been long awaited though, hasn't it? I
It
swear, because I
has.
think
It's long.
yeah, oh man, it's
Ever since you
you know
started, I said,
oh,
look, I was like, I wanna be part of this.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Nah, it's cool because I think when I put the first one out right from the off, you were just like supporting it and
Yeah, of course.
positivity and yeah, it makes a huge difference, and it's just like it's just a little bit of encouragement. Because you put stuff out there and it's just like you don't get hate or anything, but you know what I mean? Just no one responds or anything. It's
Yeah,
just
and you're a
like
bit like, oh, like I don't, especially when no one responds, you're like, I don't know if people don't like this, do like this, like you don't know what to expect, sort of
oh
thing.
mate, 100% exactly. So yeah, I think you're one of the few, and it's cool how rows have crossed because it's like I don't know.
Bro, it's crazy.
Yeah, mate.
Do you
It's
know what, right? Because what it's probably coming up 20 years since we last spoke.
maybe. I mean, what is it? 2010. I sort of it's like up until year 6 we're at school together.
Yeah,
Uh, and I left, didn't I? I left in start of year 7.
that was it.
Into
Yeah,
middle
so
school.
we were nursery all the way up to year 6. You left just before year 7, and then we didn't hear much of each other other than that. I went to school with your older brother.
Yeah, Worcester, wasn't it?
Yeah, I went to school with Matt.
Yeah.
So, um, I sort of every now and then sort of asked him sort of how you were or whatever. And then when did our roads cross? Was it last year or the year before?
I remember because basically I think I found you online because I think it's just if you're on Facebook, like suggested people come up.
Yeah,
And I think I just added you one day. I don't know. I just thought, okay, oh cool, it's Josh. And then I think it was a couple of years ago on my feed, it was you in a boxing match.
yeah.
And I thought, oh mate, this is awesome because I think a few years before, like probably about 5 years ago, nearly 5 years ago today, actually, I started getting into boxing.
All
And I
right.
just remembered that my confidence just shot up,
Yeah.
just my general well-being. And it's like outside when you're outside, you look at boxing, you just think, oh, it's just people who are angry or just not
The violent
intelligent.
people and yeah.
Yeah. But then when you actually get into it, it's quite liberating, and you learn so much. Just well, I'll sort
You
of
know
let you
what?
sort of get into it because obviously you know a lot more about it than myself. But when I
It's
saw you did it,
crazy because,
yeah,
like you say, like it's sort of if you don't really know about it and you're not really into it, like people will have that perception of like, it's an aggressive sport, like they're violent people, this and that. But when I tell you, most people that I know into it are the calmest, most chill people that you'll see because
oh, for
they're
sure,
they're they're trained to be disciplined. You can't just
yeah,
go down the street and start banging people out. Do you know what I
yeah,
mean? Like
exactly,
it's
yeah,
it's
yeah,
it's not like that at all. Like everyone's very calm, everyone's very disciplined, and it's very like you use it when you're supposed to use it.
yeah,
You don't
yeah.
sort of take advantage of it.
Oh, for sure. I think that's a key word for it, isn't it? Discipline. It,
Absolutely, I agree.
that's exactly. If it could sum up boxing in a word, maybe that's what it'd be. And I think
Oh,
it's
for
just,
sure.
yeah, it's like if you train as a boxer, it's like yeah, you got the capacity to do more harm, but because you got the capacity to do more, and you've got that discipline, it just means that you're less likely to lash out. It's like a paradox, isn't it? And
That's it.
it might be the people who haven't trained or gone through that process. Interestingly, although their skills aren't as good, they're more likely to lash out and get angry. And
Because originally, I
but
wasn't. I wasn't even meant to fight originally.
oh wow, that's so interesting. Yeah, I'm interested how
So,
it came about.
so, my um, I had a friend who he was a personal trainer, boxing coach, whatever. And I was really looking like really seeing what he was doing. I was like, I'll give it a try. And he was like, oh, like you can come and train with me on like every Saturday. I was like, okay, it's cool. So I was training in Worcester at the time.
Yeah.
Um, and I was training with him like each Saturday and whatever. And I had a lot of sort of stuff going on while I was training, and something sort of happened in my life that was a very like quite emotional.
Yeah.
Um, and then he asked me, he was like, listen, he said, you don't have to, but he said, there's an opportunity come up. He said, do you want to fight? And originally I was like, no, I don't think I do. And then I went to work and I was speaking to a friend of mine at work about it. And he said, you should do it. He said, it gives you, during this hard time, it'll give you something to focus on and something to sort of take your mind off it all.
Yeah.
I was like, okay. I was like, all right. So I messaged him and I said, yep. I was like, go on. I was like, I'm up for it. This is this is June. Um, and then I fought in the October, so I had a very long camp, a very
Yeah.
long camp.
4 months.
Um, and it it was genuinely, I found a very, very big amount of respect for boxers because it made me realize how hard it actually is.
Yeah.
It's so difficult. Like the fitness, all the stuff I was training 2 to 3 times a day, every day.
Wow. Mm.
I had a Sunday off, um, just to rest, but Monday to Saturday I was training 2 to 3 times a day. I was usually training pads or sparring in the morning, and then in the afternoon I was like strength and conditioning or running or whatever. Um, and then um, I was matched with an opponent by the sort of mid to late August,
Yeah.
and I was like, okay, right. It's some uh a traveller guy, and he was quite experienced on the circuit, and I was like, oh, okay.
Oh wow.
I was like, this puts the nerves in me a bit, but I was like, okay. I was like, let's just get the work in, and we studied him, and we were like, right, this is the weak points, these are the strong points, this is what we do. And the closer and closer it got to fight night, I was like, yeah, I'm feeling a lot more confident. I'm feeling really confident. Uh, so I fought on Saturday, the 15th of October, 2022.
Oh yeah.
Now, on Friday, the 14th of October, I'm at
Yeah.
work around, I think it was around 12 o'clock, and my phone rings and it's my trainer. And he went, listen, he said, I don't want to scare you, but your opponent is not your opponent that you're going to be fighting, that you thought you've been fighting for the last 16 weeks.
Oh mate.
He said,
Oh
your opponent has come down with COVID, so we've had to draft in someone else. And my heart sank because I was panicking. I was like, I said, I've got less than 24 hours to go until I'm fighting. And I was like, I've now trained 16 weeks for someone that I'm now
yeah.
not fighting. So I was like,
Yeah.
what do I do? And he's on the phone and he was like, listen, he said, you'll be fine. He said, just stick to your boxing, stick to what you know. Um, Fight day rolls around. I'm doing like stretches and breathing techniques and stuff in the morning. I don't think what I eat. I ate like I think I had like porridge and like a banana in the morning. I had to get there about 3 or 4 hours before I was fighting, and I was so nervous. I was upstairs in the changing rooms, and I'm just jumping up and down because I'm like really nervous. And my trainer was like, "Sit down, breathe." He goes, "You're not on for a few hours." I was like, "Okay, all right, cool."
Yeah.
He made me have like a Snickers bar for like a bit of a like sugar rush, and and then my one of the other boxers, Liam, who was one of my cornermen, he was like a few hours later, he was like, "Right," he goes, "You ready?" He goes, "You ready? You're up." I was like, "Oh no." Okay. I was like, "Let's go." So my music hits and I'm walking down, and you walk down, sort of walk past like the crowd, and you walk up to this ramp and you stand at the end of the ramp and you stand there for about 5, 10 seconds, and then you walk to the ring. And I'm stood on this ramp and I'm like, I can feel my legs like jelly, and I'm like, this is
Yeah.
horrible. And then I don't know why, but my trainer like whispered in my ear, he went, listen, he goes, have fun. And that's all he said. And for some reason, as soon as he said that, I was like, wow. And my nerves just went. I was like, that's so weird. I stepped in the ring and like all my family, friends, I completely forgot they were all there. But that was it, and this is really weird to explain. It was like the rounds were the longest rounds I've ever done in my life, but
Wow.
I don't I barely remember them.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow,
it's
mate.
crazy.
Yeah. It's like I don't know. It's like I don't know who said it. It might be McGregor or someone. 'Cause I know people a bit like say it's controversial that, but it might have been McGregor. He said something like when you go into a fight, it's like going into a car crash. You come out a different man or something.
Yeah, yeah.
Something like that. I think. But yeah, would you say when you kick like you before and after, it's like you're a different person sort of thing?
I would say so. I mean, I that fight will always, I would say, mean the most to me because, like I say, sort of all the stuff that I was going through, even in the build up, for me, that was like I've been knocked down these last few months, and
Yeah.
now this is me rising again,
Yeah.
sort of thing. And like my best friend who was there at the time, like he came after sort of I'd won. He came to me. He was like, "Listen," he said, "I know that was so much more than just winning like a boxing match." He said that was sort of a you showed resilience and you've bounced back. Um, but it certainly it I'd say it definitely taught me a lot of lessons,
Yeah.
um, especially about discipline and courage and respect. It taught me a lot. It taught me a lot about sports, like in general, like and athletes and stuff like that. And it taught me a lot about
Yeah.
people.
Yeah. Oh wow. That's interesting. Like people, like do you mean the good and the bad?
Yeah, in terms of uh, sort of the way people can sort of perceive you, if that makes sense. Like
Yeah, kind of
I
like
was,
judge.
I like you can have people go, like they'll cheer your name and stuff, and you're like, yeah, yeah, yeah. But then when times aren't good, you're like, where are you now?
Yeah, no, I get you. I get you. It's like they're there for the highs, but then they disappear
Yeah,
for the
yeah.
lows. It's like,
So then
yeah,
when
yeah,
when times are good, you're like, well, no, like you weren't here when my times were bad. So why should you
yeah,
be here when my times are good? Do you know what I mean?
yeah. And I think this like that's how you know where someone is, isn't it? When you're going through the rough patches,
Yeah.
and it's like because I think for me loyalty is something that I hold very. It's very important to me.
Yeah,
Loyalty,
me
like
too.
really important. So like when people are good to me, I always want to be. I don't know, always loyal back, even if at
Of course.
times they do something I don't agree with, or they're going down. I know their view of life. I'm like, I don't necessarily agree with that, but I'm like, you know what? Back then, you're there for me, and
Yeah,
we're gonna stick it through, sort of thing. So,
of course.
but yeah, I think it's what would you say? 'Cause you said it's like, what would you say the hardest part of this training was then? And it'd also be interesting to after we've gone sort of discuss this to think about the future and if you're planning on doing any more in the future, sort of thing. But yeah, what was sort of like the hardest parts of it? Was it because it's like 16 weeks is pretty long? I think it's usually like 8 to 10 or something.
Most people do between like 8 and 12 weeks.
8 and 12, 16, it's like, oh, but
I
did
did
you
it.
literally start off with the basics, like start off, you haven't done it before, sort of thing, or you
I
already had a foundation already?
I had a foundation. So when I was younger, I dabbled in like kickboxing and like MMA and that sort of thing.
Yeah,
Um, and I found a love for boxing. So I had done it before, but not to a really precise sort of level, if that makes sense.
yeah, kind of, yeah,
My trainer for the first, I'd say three, probably 3 weeks. the first 3 weeks, I'd say he just had me working on footwork. He said, "You're not going to
Oh
throw a
wow,
single punch." He said, "Everything starts with the feet. Everything is
wow,
controlled by the feet." So he said, "I'm not going to have you throw a single punch." He said, You're going to work on your feet, and then when we've got that down, then you can add punches in."
yeah, oh wow,
Um, which is it was at first I was like, "Oh, this is so boring." And I was like, "Oh, am I going to carry on?" sort of thing. And then I was like, "Oh, you know what?" I was like, give it a bit of a chance and whatever." And then obviously, eventually, I was like, "Oh, okay, like it's not so bad." It's
yeah,
just
yeah,
learning.
yeah, yeah.
It's very mechanical in terms of like the mechanics of the body.
Mm.
Everything has to be very fluid.
Yeah, it's like have you seen any of the Rocky films?
Yes,
It's like absolutely love the Rocky films. I think it's just like it's good that sort of analogy for life, isn't it? And
very.
I remember he said I think something along the lines of why did I become a boxer? Because I couldn't sing or dance.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it's that idea that idea of that let's go and dance in the ring sort of thing. It's like a lot of it is footwork,
yeah.
isn't it? And um yeah, I think with fighting though, I think McGregor always springs to mind as like I don't know what you think about McGregor, but I think he's absolute legend, man. I just
Yeah,
I
it's
look at his
great.
story, but I know that he when he's coming up through the ranks, he spoke a lot about like being a master of
Yeah,
movement training, and how if you can move around the ring, sort of thing. If you
I
can't
look
get
at
hit as well, you can't lose as well, can you?
this is it. I look at like, I mean, it's becomes a bit of a controversial topic, but I look at I look at Floyd Mayweather, right?
Yeah,
He's sort of mastered the art of hit and not get hit
yeah, yeah, for sure, for
now,
sure.
and he's undefeated doing that.
Yeah,
So it, if you want to talk about hit and not get hit, just look at Floyd Mayweather. Like
yeah, oh, for
he's one of the
sure.
greatest boxers of the last 100 years.
Yeah.
So, oh,
Yeah, I think his record speaks for itself, doesn't it? Like 50-0, and
50 and oh yeah.
it's just like even Tyson Fury just got beat. You know what I mean? So it's like, and I thought he might be like one of the greatest.
Do
So
you know what? It's so weird, right? So I'm a big Tyson Fury fan, and
yeah, yeah,
anytime Tyson Fury's been like had a fight coming up, I'm like, yeah, Tyson Fury, Tyson Fury, Tyson Fury. And then as soon as he was, I've followed Usyk's career, and as soon as he was poised to fight Usyk, I was like, this could be a tough one. And
yeah,
my missus looked at me, she's like, you think? I was like, yeah. I said, Usyk is he, you watch him fight Anthony Joshua, right? He's Usyk's not afraid to let punches fly. He
yeah,
and he's very, very smart with the way he does things. He can fight people smaller than him, taller than him, it does not matter.
yeah.
And I've got a funny feeling on December the 21st, history is just going to repeat itself.
Oh, it's going down again, isn't it? I saw something
Yeah.
about this because he beat Joshua twice, didn't he? And like,
Uh-huh.
yeah, because I think with Fury as well, he's getting older and slower. It looks like.
That's it.
I think his peak was probably Wilder 3, maybe.
Probably.
Maybe that was like the best he'll get, and now sort of on the way down. But yeah, but so you've seen the Rocky films then? Have you heard of this guy? He's online. It's really interesting. So I sort of introduced this guy similar sort of time where I got into boxing about 5 years ago,
Right.
and he massively changed my life. So if anyone's watching this now, I really recommend looking up this guy. He's not everyone's cup of tea. David Goggins, you heard of him?
Yes.
David Goggins.
It's so weird you mention him. But yeah.
Yeah, absolute legends. But listen to him. I think I listened to him on Joe Rogan. I think he was on like twice in 2018 or something. But if anyone's watching this, they haven't come across him, massively recommend it. But I think with someone
Highly
like
recommend.
yeah, but someone like Goggins, I think you either affiliate with him or you don't. I think
Yeah.
if you've been through that path of kind of suffering based, I don't know how else to put it, then you'll sort of I think you'll massively resonate with him, and
Yeah.
he's just. I think also when I hear him speak, there's a lot of weight in what he says because you know he's not a fraud, you know he's not a
Well,
fake. So,
he's got a very elite mindset. He's
oh
come from
yeah,
like a military background,
Yeah.
and he's got a very elite mindset about things. And you look at him and you're like, wow. Like I think I was, it's like I say, it's weird you mentioning because I was watching this video about him last night, and
Oh, no way.
I think there was like this big weather warning on the TV that came on in America, and it said stay indoors. It was like this amber like warning about like a storm, and he looked at his mate and he went, cool, time to go for a run. And he went for a run and he just went running, and you're like, you're crazy. And I think he ran like a few hundred miles or something, and the
Um,
guy's crazy.
it's just, he's just an absolute warrior though, and yeah, he just inspired me because I think a couple of when was it 2021 and 2022? I think I did a half marathon in each year.
Yeah,
I think what inspires me is you look at where he started. He's like very overweight, very demotivated. I think he did a job like cleaning out for cockroaches, didn't he, in
yeah,
like kitchens and stuff. And he just showed that I know, he just start off small because I think he just started off just running down his street, and then he just sort of. I think one of the things he says is during when you feel like giving up, you just go just one more step sort of thing, just one more step, just one. I don't know, just keep going. And
yeah, yeah,
I got a lot of inspiration from him for sure because I think the thing with boxing and just this mindset of discipline, courage, and respect that you get from these sort of practices, I think it sort of translates to all areas of life. I feel like boxing, in a sense, is like a metaphor for life,
yeah,
and when I feel like with training, just in general, you're not just training for that specific practice, but you're training for life. You know what I mean?
yeah,
And it's like, yeah, I think it's just that practice, that mindset of never giving up, keep going. And I think the reason that Goggins came to my head was because I think about Rocky. I think one of the things that inspired Goggins was one of the first Rocky films. Is that scene where Rocky? Have you come across it like round 14?
yeah, 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 yeah.
And in Rocky, what he's like knocked down, and and Apollo's just like hands in the air, and then he looks back at Rocky getting up, and he's just
Yeah,
like
no,
deflated,
because he's
and it's
like,
just
oh,
that,
not again. I've got to keep fighting. Like it's
yeah,
not going to stop, man.
oh for sure, and it's that idea. It's not that Rocky, it's not Rocky punching him that deflated him. It's not Rocky winning. It's just getting up and just saying like, yeah, I'm in lots of pain,
Like
but
it's not over.
yeah, exactly, bring it. Like I'm never
Yeah,
giving up, and
that's it.
just like ignites a fire in my belly sort of thing. Like
Yeah,
when you have
yeah,
those times where there might not be anyone around you, people might just have just I don't know, just walked away from you, judging you or whatever. It's just like that mindset of all right, let's go, bring it. Do you know what I mean? Like keep
yeah,
going.
yeah,
And
yeah.
I feel like a lot of people they it's like there can be that thing of I don't know, it's if you're aspiring for something, it's like can make people feel bad about themselves. They
Yeah.
want to try and bring you down.
Yeah, yeah.
And so it's that
It
thing of
can,
just like,
it's sort of like a thing of like, oh, well, they they've got nothing to aspire to, so like they don't think you should, so they'll bring you down.
yeah, and it's like it's like crab culture, I think, isn't it? It's like you're
Yeah,
trying to escape, they just pull you down. It's like, nope, nope,
that's it.
and it's you're making me feel bad. So, um, but yeah, it's just it's quite interesting that. But yeah, do you think you'll fight again, or because this is interesting because this sort of is how we sort of I'd say connected again. I saw I think it's a video on Facebook. I was like, this is awesome, like fair play, instant respect. Because anyone gets in the ring, it's like respect.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, and I thought, I think I checked out your Insta, followed you on Insta, because I think, and then I think there we go. Then from there, we just sort of paths crossed, didn't they?
Yeah, yeah.
And here we are. But yeah, do you think you'll train again, or like fight again, or is that sort of
So
well, no, gonna be?
I'm I'm very in two minds. So I'm always practicing, right? I'm
Okay.
always
Yeah.
doing quote unquote training, I guess you could say.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
But just to keep in shape, sort of thing.
yeah, obviously I've now moved from where I was training. Um, so it's finding somewhere new in this area. But There are. I'm not going to sugarcoat it with. I think it was. Are you familiar with UFC?
With UFC, it's like specific fighters. So I love McGregor, Leon
Do you know Daniel
Edwards, and
Cormier?
you sorry?
Daniel Cormier.
I've heard the name. I've heard the name. Heard the
So
name.
okay, I believe it was Daniel Cormier, right? He went on Joe Rogan's podcast and he was saying um, how much more brutal and dangerous boxing is to MMA,
Oh, I've heard that. I've heard that.
right? And that that is something that I think is is the enjoyment and the money sort of worth it because
Yeah,
brain injuries are not something that should be messed about with.
yeah,
But I thoroughly enjoy it. So it may be something in the future where I'm like, okay, what I'll do is I'll train, I'll spar, I'll fight, and after every fight, I'll go and get MRI scans. I'll go get whatever scans I need to get to make sure
yeah,
my health is fine. Um, if my health is fine, cool. If it's not, then I'll go, right, I need to nip this in the bud before
yeah,
something really bad happens. But I'd say so. I'd say I think in the future I will fight again.
yeah.
Because I think that I mean there's people that want to see it and it's so weird. I look back at I look back at my fight now and I think, oh man, I'm like I could have been so much better.
Oh wow, that's pretty cool.
Like I'm like
How many rounds?
bro,
How many
like
rounds
bro,
was it?
it was supposed to be three, but it only went one and a half.
Oh wow, you ended it early. That's fair
Yeah,
play.
I TKO'd him in round two, about halfway through.
Oh wow, fair play,
So,
fair play. Yeah, yeah. Would you
um,
Yeah, sorry, you were
but I
saying.
do. I look at myself and I think if I now was to spar myself from back then, I think yeah, I'd destroy myself.
Oh wow, like you just destroy yourself just from just oh yeah, I get you. If you fought against your 2022 self, you'd
Yeah, yeah,
obliterate
yeah, yeah,
him. I
yeah.
get you. I get you. Oh
Yeah.
wow. Yes,
No, I
it's
think
just
because I look at it, I'm like I'm so much better now.
yeah, yeah. So it makes you want to get back in, doesn't it?
That's it.
Yeah, it's just like training consistently. It's like if you just do like a little bit each day over a year, it's like you've done loads. Whereas if you just
Yeah,
do like a week, you all in, then 10 weeks off, another week all in, you're not going
yeah.
to get as much progress as if it's just every day, just not missing a day off.
That's it.
So I think it's like everything, isn't it? Have you ever seen the film? I mentioned this in one of my last podcasts, this film. I think it was with that guy, with Francis, but the Shawshank Redemption film.
I think I have.
Yeah, I love this film, but the way he escapes from prison is like over 19, 17 years, I think it is. He just gets, I think, a rock hammer and just keeps scraping the wall
Yes.
every single
Yeah.
day. It's just not like he gets a spade and or a hammer, like a huge hammer. It's just a little tiny rock hammer every single day, scraping it. Then over 17 years, he escapes. So it's like that. I love that film because it helps me a lot. It's just that idea of just every little day. Like
Keeping going,
he didn't
keeping
brag
going.
about it to his friends. He didn't say, "Oh, I'm looking to escape." He just
Mhm.
quietly got on with his life every little day, every day, just scrapes a little, and a lot of he's innocent as well. He wasn't even deserved to be in that, and then also I love that film because when he's in that prison, he could have been really bitter and resentful,
Very,
and just
yeah, but
made
he
like
wasn't.
yeah, he found himself in a horrible situation and he just made the
Yeah,
place better. So he like made a library, inspired others, and even when things were going against him, he just he didn't give up, did he? He didn't give up. He just kept going. And
so say he
um,
kept trying for sort of for 17 years, and he was just kept going and kept going, and he just eventually escaped.
yeah, it's just like that. I swear, man, it's like having this elite mindset. I swear it's just all connected. It's like, do you know what
For
I
sure.
mean? It's like you can
Well,
see these
I like
patterns.
it's funny. Like I when I was sort of in camp and whatever, and I'm posting all these stories and all these videos of me training or whatever, because people. as much as like I enjoy it, people want to see it. And I had someone, who was it? I can't remember who it was, but someone messaged me and they were like, listen, I'm struggling for motivation in like to get in the gym and to train. And I think I think my reply was something like, I'm never motivated to train.
Oh wow.
I just train
Wow.
because like I said I see motivation. Like if you want to stay motivated, stay consistent
That's it. That's it. Never miss a day
because
off.
consistency will bring back the motivation.
Yeah. And it's having that guilt or that shame of missing a day off.
Well,
It's like
the
self
days where I don't
accountability.
want to, that's it. The days where I don't want to train are usually my best sessions.
Ah, actually, just like, and it's like you know that I think I tweeted this recently. It's like the pain from giving up is more painful
I
than
saw that
what you.
tweet.
Yeah, yeah, and I think yeah, and I think it's like you can't avoid pain. You can't avoid
No, of
suffering. It's like
course.
and the pain that you want to give up from, if you give up, it's like that pain. It's not physical, but it's this deep shame. It's shame, isn't it? It's like
Yeah,
I'm not being as good as I could be. And then it's like one of the things that sort of inspires me to keep going is I think if I give up here, then my mindset will be that I probably want to. It's going to be easier to give up in this part of my life,
yeah.
and you end up just
So
giving up everywhere. And
the
then
tweet
also,
that
do
you
you know what I
shared,
mean?
the tweet that you shared was the pain from giving up is worse than the pain that we can be tempted to give up from.
That's it.
There you go.
Yeah, yeah, that's the one. That's the one. And yeah, I think yeah, because yeah, I think that's it. I think it's what you're saying. It's like the days you don't feel like doing your best session, it's like regardless of how you feel, it's
Yeah,
there's some training that needs to train. So
that's it.
train.
Yeah.
Don't negotiate with yourself on it. And but yeah, so there's that as well. So how are things to you anyways in general? Like I don't know how long we've got on the recording left. I need to check. I might just quickly check it. I feel like wait, let's have a look. Okay, I think I've got like 4.5 minutes, not gonna lie. I think it's a 40
Oh
minute
wow.
recording. I know it's gone quick. It's gone quick. Lots we've covered a lot, but maybe I don't know. Any sort of anything you want to promote or anything like that? I don't know if you do much or maybe your Insta.
Just, I
Uh,
mean, yeah. Come on,
I,
mate. Since you want, I mean, I won't complain.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I mean, I
But
guess like
yeah,
it's for me, it's sort of going back to what you said earlier, like even from like
there we go. Right, it says
the
recordings in progress again. So what is that? I don't know why. So in case anyone's wondering what's just happened, who's watching, basically we're using the free version of Zoom. I think it's like 36. I thought it was 40-minute meeting, but I think it's actually 36. And then after it's gone, you basically have to wait 10 minutes before you can record again. So it's just in 10 minutes, roughly. But here we are. We're back.
um
We're actually sort of
yeah,
nearing the end, but I can't remember where we were. Where were we?
going back to what I was saying. So sort of going back to what you said like near at the start. I just kind of want to promote like encouragement and kindness
Yeah.
because I think for some reason that lacks in the world and it shouldn't. I think it's something that uh, even like uh, just a little bit of kindness, it can just make someone's day. Like
Yeah.
it can change someone's mindset and sort of change their mood even for the day. Like even just a smile or hello, how are you? Or like where or a compliment, anything. Um, I think just sort of showing people a kindness and encouraging people and pushing them forward is something that everyone needs to do.
Yeah, no, 100%. I think that I don't know, recently it seems that in sort of the internet space or just society sort of space, it's especially if it's like the for for men maybe, it's like it can be seen. it can be seen as a weakness if you're kind, or it could be a weakness as if you're out there just trying to encourage. It's like I agree. I think it's definitely the world needs more of, and I guess it links to humility, doesn't it? It's just being humble, and
Yeah.
I think you're right because there's been times. I think you've some message you've sent me. I don't know if you might not know this, but it massively gives you a little lift. Just if
Ah,
I post a video or something and it's just like, oh hey, this is awesome. It is, you're right. I think I might it's a bit like you've got a dark room, just a little light.
yeah,
You you get a match and it just darkness just goes. And
that's it.
I love that. I love that. Kindness and encouragement. I think there's so many people now just in the world, they just all they need is just that one word of encouragement, and it's amazing how many people need that and how many people don't get it.
No,
And
I know.
yeah, and I guess that's one of the core message of this podcast. Then maybe what we're doing now is encourage people
Yeah, of
and
course.
look out for others, isn't it? And yeah, I think as humans, though, I think there's just so much more. There's so much to it, more to us than we could ever comprehend as well. There's
Yeah.
just so like there's just no limit to where we can where we can be, to what we can do. And I just yeah. Awesome. I don't know if I want to wrap up there, but we do have another like a lot more time. I don't know if you anything else to mention, but maybe this I know this is something we're talking about. There was something you said you were gonna ask me a question. I don't know if you DM'd me to
Oh, yeah,
start the
yeah, yeah.
pod. I don't know if you can remember if it's the right sort of time for it. I don't know because I don't know what the question is.
So,
Then also I thought maybe we could do just review of the year,
yeah.
goals for next year, maybe. I don't
Well,
know. But
my my
yeah.
question, I mean, they're not like really deep or anything, but I had two questions. My
Go
first was who's going to win the Premier League this
on.
season
Yeah, go on.
and who's going to be relegated? Because I'm being berated for defending Wolves. I'm being told that Wolves are going to be relegated, and I don't think they will. I've said I think they'll save themselves with a couple wins and a few draws here and
Yeah.
there.
Who's your team, by the way?
Arsenal.
Arsenal. Oh, mate.
I'm an Arsenal fan.
They're like people saying they're the new Stoke City, aren't they?
Yeah,
I think it's a bit harsh to be honest. I think you're just playing smart with the corners.
I agree.
It, it's like you're being successful at something, and people are trying to find a way to diminish it.
This is it.
It's
So
like
I looked at the stats. So we've this season we've scored 28 goals. Five of them have been from
yeah,
corners.
yeah.
So
That's incredible.
like, and people are saying, oh, you can only score corners. Well, we've only scored five goals from corners this season.
Yeah, exactly.
So
It's
we
just
scored
because you
20. Like,
yeah. It's just because that's the way you beat Man U, isn't it? It's just
yeah,
very in that one match. It's very obvious, but I think it's just people. If you're Stoke City, the new Stoke City, you'd be
it's
11th.
like
Do you know what I mean?
it's because our last two games. Well, against West Ham, we scored two corners, and Man United, both our goals were from corners. But like, uh, a goal's a goal.
Yeah,
Like
exactly, exactly.
everyone said like, oh, there's a lot of dark arts, and don't get me wrong, I did see. I think it was when we played Tottenham. Ben White, he undid the Velcro of the goalkeeper's gloves. Right now,
Oh,
I laughed when
mate.
I saw this. Right, and I'm like, you shouldn't be doing it. Right, you shouldn't. But it's a way of he's trying to get in their heads, and
Yeah, exactly.
he's just doing it to wind them up.
Yeah, yeah. It's just it's the Premier League, and it's like these little details. They
Yeah,
that's what gets that's the difference between winning the title and not, isn't
I
it?
agree.
So it's like I got table in front of me though. So what you got? Liverpool, Chelsea are doing very well. I love Chelsea. I think I'm a Villa fan, but for sure, after Villa, it's definitely Chelsea for sure.
Okay,
I love the culture of the club. They're just
okay.
you know that with Chelsea, they could be winning the league, then they can finish 10th, and they can win the league the
Yeah,
next
yeah.
season. They're that sort. Do you know what I mean? They
They're
won the
that sort of
Champions
team.
League, finished
Yeah,
12th a couple of seasons later. Now they're up at a couple of seasons later, they're in second. So
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna just go with Liverpool, just because
Yeah,
what's 7 point gap. They seem pretty solid, but I do think with Liverpool, the thing is, no offense, because you know you're an Arsenal fan, but I do think Arsenal are are capable of choking, and Liverpool as
I
well.
agree.
And then I think you can never write off City just because they're
Yep,
City.
yep,
And when with City, when they've got pressure, they perform at the end of the season. Then Chelsea, I think with Chelsea, they're the sort of team that could win 6-0, and then the next week they could draw 2 at home to Ipswich, something like that. Do you know what I mean? They're like that sort of team. But I have to go with Liverpool and then Arsenal, perhaps. I don't know. I think Liverpool, to be honest, and
yep.
relegated. Definitely Southampton for
I
sure.
think I think that
Yeah, go
I
on.
would say two definite teams are Southampton and Ipswich.
Yeah, Ipswich is just yeah, they're like
I would
Luton,
say,
they're going
yeah.
down.
Mate, when they first came up, I think it was their first two games. I was like, these are really cool. I really like these. I want them to stay up. But
Yeah.
now they're getting slammed like every week.
Mm.
Um, so I think Southampton and Ipswich are pretty much guaranteed. Now, I'm tempted to say Everton or Leicester.
Everton or Leicester. I can see both of those teams. If Everton go down, man, that'd be so sad, wouldn't it? They got a new
Yeah,
stadium, and I don't know if you've seen a new stadium. It reminds me of if you ever played like FIFA 13. It
yeah,
reminds me of
yeah,
those generic stadiums you get
yeah.
that
Just the
like that.
default.
Yeah, it looks like a default stadium. It just looks it's like a bowl.
Well,
It's it just looks like soulless. Do you know what I mean? It's empty and
yeah,
so, and they've got Deitch, and I feel bad for Everton, man, and it could go on, but there's more I could say, but I don't want to libel them too much or slander them. I don't know. So what you thinking Ipswich and Southampton, and then Everton or Leicester? You think Wolves?
yeah.
Think of Wolves though. I kind of get where you're coming from because I see their position in the table doesn't sort of reflect how they're playing, apart from that Everton game, because
I
they
think,
nearly yeah,
well,
go on.
I look at it like this, right? So they played City, they lost 2-1, right? They played Liverpool, they lost 2-1. So they're not
Yeah,
against realistically the best two teams in the league. They've not done that badly, but then they
yeah.
get slammed like 4-1 at like Fulham or something. And like I think they've got a bad rap, but I think Wolves always have a way of pulling out wins or draws where they need to.
Yeah, I mean, they're kind of local, aren't they, to where we came from? So
Although I'm going to throw a little dark horse in here,
I'll go on.
Crystal Palace.
Yeah, I'm looking at Palace, and in the back of my mind, I think they'll be fine. But yeah, but their position at the table it doesn't look great, does it? It's like what
No.
17th, 12 points. So
Yeah.
yeah, I think if I had to, I don't know, someone said you have to guess now. I'd do Southampton, Ipswich, and oh mate, this is hard.
I think the
Oh.
last position's hard.
Yeah, it is because I think Everton will be fine, Leicester fine, Palace fine, and then Wolves fine. But then one of them's not going to be fine. It's like
Yeah, of course.
I think with Leicester, what's convincing me of them is I like Ruud van Nistelrooy. He looks like a good
Yeah.
manager. I think, and I think, oh, if I had to say, if I had to say, it'd be Everton or Wolves. If I had to, but
Oh, you did say Wolves.
if I had to, just be
Okay.
thing is, it's like the least like I if I could, I'd say all of them will be fine, but one of them
Yeah,
has to
yeah.
go. But I think Everton, man, I think they just need to they just need to find a way to get rid of Deitch. To be honest, like,
Yeah. No, I agree.
I think with Deitch, having him someone like him as manager. Well, I think having him as manager is very comfortable, isn't it? It's very
Yeah.
comfortable, but maybe they should get Moyes back, you know. But
Hmm.
like West Ham getting rid of Moyes, man, they're so bad. It's like the
Yeah,
most
they are.
successful manager in history, and they just pounded him out. So we got rid of him. But yeah, I think I love the football space at the moment. I think it's pretty interesting. I'm looking forward to this Club World Cup next year. I think a lot of people
Yeah.
aren't a fan of it, I know, but I think that I don't know. I just think I think in like 10 years, once it gets momentum, it's going to be bigger than the Champions League. It's like the next level, isn't it? It's every 4 years, and
Yeah,
it's going to be so because with that Club World Cup, it's going to be so hard to qualify. You have to win the Champions League to qualify, and then you have to go and win it, and it's every 4 years, travel
yeah,
the world. Like that tournament's going to be
amazing.
so hard, man. But yeah, awesome. Anything else for we? Oh yeah, this is what I was going. I don't know what you think about this, but going back to boxing,
Mm,
I was thinking about this guy the other day. I was actually watching some of the things of him online. Been following him for a while actually. Jake Paul. Jake Paul. I
okay.
want to know what your thoughts are on Jake Paul, Mike Tyson, and just sort of because I think he's actually Jake Paul. I think he's in some way when it comes to business, he's a genius because I think that he knows that he's ruffling feathers and he knows that lots of
Yeah,
people hate
he's
him.
turning
But
heads, whether it's good or bad. He's
yeah, but I think he
turning
knows
heads.
that.
Yeah.
He knows that. But I don't know what your thoughts are on that fight and just his sort of boxing career in general because I find him to be an interesting guy. I really do.
So it's it's very difficult because I think when influencer boxing sort of first became a big thing and mainstream media was involved, everyone slammed it
Yeah.
because they were like, "Oh, you're disrespecting the sport, this and that," and I understand where they're coming from, but
Excuse me.
I look at how many kids will now be interested in boxing because of people like KSI and Jake Paul, who
Yeah, exactly.
followings who didn't care about boxing until these people were doing it.
Hmm.
So it's brought more eyes to the sport. Uh,
Yeah.
and I have heard them speak about the health risks and all this and that. So it's not like they're taking the sport lightly. Um, as far as his career, I respect it. I think you need to fight maybe some more credible fighters in the sense of fight fight people firstly your own age and secondly who are actually boxers.
Yeah.
Like he's fought a basketball player, he's fought three MMA fighters, he's fought a proper boxer and then a nearly 60-year-old boxer, and you're like your resume is not stacking up great here. Um, I think I don't think he's terrible at all. I think he's very decent. I think he would give a few pro boxers quite a good fight and probably win quite a few. But I think he's got a lot to learn. I think a lot
Yeah.
of these fighters have a lot of experience and have been around the game for years. Um, as far as the Mike Tyson fight, so my favorite ever boxer is Mike Tyson.
Oh mate,
Right.
that must have been interesting.
I love Mike Tyson, right? And
Yeah.
I'm a firm believer that in his prime, no one would beat him. But I looked at his training and I looked at his sparring in the build up, and I'm like, yeah, he looks real good. But pads don't hit back,
Yeah,
uh,
that's true.
and I think you can see 10, 15-second clips in sparring, but that you won't see clips of him getting really tired and all the injuries and everything like that. And I don't know, it was quite sad, I think. I
Yeah, I
I
think a
I,
lot of people.
I think for his age, he did very well. Um, but I think it was a dangerous game to play.
Yeah, it looked like Jake Paul. I'm wondering if he held back a little as well because he didn't want to seriously
This is yeah,
hurt him.
but I
Do you know what I
see.
mean?
But then I wonder if it's so hard because you see these videos. I wonder if Mike Tyson held back.
Yeah, you never
Because
know.
like my missus was showing me these clips like on Instagram, and there's like these big openings, and Mike Tyson like goes to throw and then doesn't throw, and you're like,
Oh, I saw something like that.
I was like, is that a feint or are you just do you not want to knock him out? And the problem is, especially so with the fight being on Netflix, there's no age restriction, so kids can watch it if they want.
Wow.
So that raises the question, okay, do you want these young kids to see some guy knocked out cold?
Of
Not
course.
really.
Yeah, there's lots of these things
Whereas
you don't think up.
whereas
So
with a
yeah,
pay-per-view where you have to pay for a fight, kids aren't really going to be watching it
yeah,
so much.
different perspective, isn't it, for sure?
Yeah,
Yeah, I didn't think about that because yeah, it's really interesting because it's like paywall, but it's a very, very cheap paywall. So it's
very.
like,
I mean, if you've got a Netflix subscription, you could have watched it. Like,
yeah, exactly. And if you just,
that's
I don't
it.
know, when was it? It was Friday night, wasn't it? US. It was
Yeah.
early hours in the UK, or like 4 o'clock in
Mm,
the UK. So it's like, if you're just scrolling Netflix, you're like, oh, cool, it's a fight. Let's watch
yeah,
this. Do you know what I mean? It's like, if you even
that's it.
don't plan to, you just end up watching it.
That's what I'm saying.
But, but I feel that's part of it. Did you, so influencer boxing, did you watch KSI Joe Weller back in the
I
day?
did.
Yeah, yeah, you were there. What was it? Joe Weller, Theo Baker, and then
I was there.
it's
I was there.
crazy where it started, isn't it? And then you end up getting from Joe Weller, Theo Baker to Jake Paul, Mike Tyson. It's
Yeah,
just, and
it's
even
crazy.
Mayweather's got involved as well,
Well,
hasn't he?
do you
So
know? Well, do you know what? And this is what I'm saying. Like, I look at Deji fighting Floyd Mayweather, and Jake
yeah,
Paul's like,
it's just
oh,
funny how the world's
I
going, isn't it?
like
It's like,
Jake Paul's there, like, oh, I fought Nate Diaz or Mike Tyson, mate. Deji's there fighting Floyd Mayweather. Gave Floyd Mayweather a black eye.
yeah, did he actually? That's crazy.
Yeah,
That's crazy. Like having
but
that on your CV, right? As a boxer.
yeah, what does get me is I think Jake Paul was saying, oh, it's like it's the biggest event in like boxing history and this and that, but it's not. The biggest event in boxing history was the crossover McGregor Mayweather. That
That was absolutely huge. Was
that
the
is
build up to
numbers,
that
bro.
was yeah. I think that the press conferences they did, the hype, that was because that was
Yeah,
McGregor is on his in his peak sort of in terms of fame and
yeah,
that. You've got Mayweather, he had just retired, so you've got all the MMA fans, you've got boxing fans. That was huge. But
yeah.
uh, talking McGregor, I so badly want to watch him fight again, man. Like, I love McGregor. Just,
Do you know
don't know
what?
about you, but
I love him, right? And I don't think I've ever seen a fighter style fight so well. But I
I think his
really want
time's
to see
up.
him fight. But if I see him fight, I want to see him win.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And unfortunately, I don't think he's got that fire in him anymore.
Oh, definitely not. Definitely not. I think,
So if I think the smartest choice for him is either take the Chandler fight, take it seriously, and hopefully he wins. And if not, just stay retired
yeah,
and just
uh,
do your thing.
yeah, right, yeah. I'd like to see him get into just, I don't know. I'd like to see him maybe do what Mayweather's done and get into the influencer space. But it's like,
Yeah,
I don't know. I think it'd be good fun. I think it'd be good fun. But
that would be good fun.
and think of the press conferences. Him and some of
Yeah,
these YouTubers like that would just do the numbers, wouldn't it? So
numbers.
yeah, yeah. Because but he's another guy who's inspired me a lot for sure. But nearly 2025 though, 2024 sort of
Done.
been it. Yeah, pretty much there, aren't we? It's just is it gone quick for you? 2024.
Yeah, like I said, I literally said to my missus earlier, I said it feels like this year it's been like 6 months long. I said
Wow,
I said I can remember like June, July, but I said I can't remember like the start of the year.
wow. It's just gone
I
like
said
that, like that.
this year has just gone so fast.
It is. It's like yeah, so many. Yeah, it's just like there's so many parts of 2023 this time last year. I remember, and it's just like here we are again. Here we go
Yeah.
again. And what about what's 2025 looking like for you then? Sort of maybe back in the ring, maybe. Just keep on going,
Maybe.
keep on keeping on, is it?
Yeah. Just
Yeah,
keep on keeping on, keep on pushing.
yeah.
I've
So
got I got a few things in the pipeline, so we'll see how those things go.
yeah,
Um, maybe back in the ring, we'll see.
yeah. We'll see. I hope if you do, I'll have to be there. I'll have to
Yeah,
if
for
I'm
sure.
yeah. Because yeah, we'll see. We'll see. 'Cause I know with boxing, it's like it can take a long time. It can be hard to get fights going. People can pull out. If you
You have
just
to
get a
sell
fight,
you have to
yeah,
sell all your tickets and yeah.
yeah. So it's not easy. It's not easy to get it done. So respect for doing it though, man. It's
Yeah, man.
I myself would love. Yeah, I would. I think I'm sort of kind of similar mindset to you. I really want to just get into it. Then part of me's thinking, like, what if there's a bad injury? I feel like I've got a lot to lose, and um, but yeah, I think it's like life changing, isn't it, when you go into the ring and you're not the same person after.
Yeah.
But I don't know, Josh, but I've really enjoyed this episode. Definitely, it's been. I think
Yeah, me
for
too.
me, it's definitely been the best. I think it's like I can sort of resonate with you quite a lot. It's not many people in the world who's got sort of a similar sort of mindset, worldview. So when you find someone who
Yeah, yeah.
does, and obviously, it's just cool how life works, isn't it? It's like this is probably the first time we've spoken like over 14 years, maybe.
Yeah, literally.
Like, that's crazy. Like, think about 14
Yeah.
years from now is 2028. So it'd be like us speaking now in a way and not speaking into 2028. That's like, it's just like we picked up where we left off.
Yeah.
So, mate, it's,
2030, it's like it's what, 2038. It's like we'll be
oh
like
yeah,
nearly 40.
2038.
We'll be nearly 40.
Oh, mate, that's mad.
Mhm.
I'll be there eventually. It's like, with time speeding up, it feels like.
Yeah,
Soon I'll be 40. Like,
literally.
but yeah, I think we're planning on doing this again, hopefully, maybe in person.
Yeah, for sure.
Um, we'll see how it goes. I think in this space, hopefully, well, we'll see what happens. But yeah, we'll see. Maybe we'll find a studio. Maybe I'll sort of set up one, but
Yeah,
we'll
sweet.
sort of, yeah, go on, sorry.
Sweet.
Yeah. Um, maybe like play it by ear, maybe. I don't know,
Yeah.
but um, yeah, I don't know. I feel like good place to sort of wrap things up. Anything else
Yeah.
to finish? Any closing sort of?
I don't think so.
I don't know.
I think that's it.
Yeah, that's it. But I don't know what to title this podcast episode. I don't know maybe like I don't know, uh, going
Why we
after
fight.
it, fighting,
Why
uh,
we fight.
why we fight. Maybe I'll do that.
What's your why? I don't know.
Let's do that. Why we fight. Let's do that.
Why we
Episode
fight.
9, and I'll look to do. When do I put? Maybe release like New Year's Eve or something. It might be a
Okay.
good way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I should do it. New Year's Eve.
Sort of a good way to sort of end the year.
I think so, and I think it's good to sort of because I love the mindset with going into a new year, not starting on the 1st of January, but
Yeah.
starting getting ready like December,
Yeah.
so that when you're 1st of January, you're not only ahead, like you're already in that zone. Do you know what I mean?
I
Whereas
agree.
1st of January, it's like, oh, so it's like getting ready now because that day's coming. But yeah, hope you have a good Christmas as well.
You
And
too, mate.
yeah, it's been good. Honestly, it's been so good talking to you. Really enjoyed this.
Been
Feel
great. You too.
yeah, it has. So we'll wrap it up there. Episode 9. Great,
Please.
awesome. Here we go.